Oh, fuck. Welcome, I'm Evelyn.
And I'm Stephanie.
And today we're here to talk about William Hogarth and his Rake progress.
Yes, indeed, we are. Hogarth was an English artist.
Yes, from England.
Yes, and he made a series of 8 paintings in the 18th century.
And the canvases were produced, around the 1732, between 1733, and then they were engraved and published and in printed form, in 1735.
And the series is about the fall of Tom Rakewell. He was a spendthrift son and heir of a rich merchant
who comes to London and wastes all his money on, luxury living,
prostitution,
that gambling, and the consequences he suffered. He was imprisoned.
Yep. Criminal.
And
and nowadays the paintings are in the collection of the Soane Museum in London.
Okay, the first painting, Tom, the main character of the series, he has come into his fortune on the death of, his father. And,
as all the servants are, mourning the death of his father, he's being measured for new clothes.
Yeah, he's also rejecting the hand of his pregnant fiancée, Sarah Young, whom he had promised to marry. And
supposedly in the painting, she is holding his ring and her mother is holding his love letters.
The tone of the painting is very dark. Yes. There's not a lot of brightness other than the red hat of the servant.
Okay, now we're gonna be looking at the third painting. This painting is pretty much depicting a party. Basically this is an orgy, and the women are prostitutes that Mr. Tom had hired as his morning entertainment.
Yes, the scene takes place at a brothel at the Rose Tavern, which is famously known. And if you look closely at the painting, you can see that the women, only the women, have these dark black spots on their faces, which represent syphilis.
Yes, apparently this was going around a lot because, as you can see in other...
Oh, no. On to the fifth painting of this series. Tom is about to marry this old hag for her money, and this takes place in Marylebone Church, which at this time was on the northern part of, London.
Yeah. If you look at this painting, you can see Tom is about to get married to what they would say was the ugly maid, and yet he is looking at the pretty young woman that is behind her. Also, you can see in the background there is Sarah Young and her mother, and Sarah Young is actually holding Tom's baby, and they are being prevented from entering the church.
Yes, and if you also take another look into the painting on the lower right-hand part, you can see that there are 2 dogs supposedly present a grotesque parody of the marriage.
Is it recording?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This concluding scene is the last painting of the series. This painting is about pretty much
the fall of
yes,
Tom.
like the fall of Tom, you would say. This is pretty much the the whole story ends up doing, which is pretty much Tom goes completely mad and ends up in a insane asylum, a mental asylum with a whole bunch of
crazy mad people.
yes.
And if you look closely, you can see a woman by his side, which is the faithful Sarah Young, who you can now notice throughout the whole series that she is totally loyal and faithful to him, even though he doesn't love her at all.
Throughout the painting, you can see that there are several types of people surrounding him, such as an astronaut, tailors, and other individuals. What I meant was that there's an astronomer, a tailor, and a musician surrounding him.
And an archbishop also.
There are two fashionable ladies that have come to observe the poor suffering lunatics, and they pretty much see them as the sights of the town, as if they are, putting on a show.
Yes. And then there's, if you look closely into the painting, there's a man who thinks he's the king, and he's naked, and he's just carrying a straw crown on his head.
He urinates.
Yes, he does.
Now, usually I don't do this, but go ahead on, break them off with a little previews of the remix. Now, I'm not trying to be rude, but hey, pretty girl, I'm feeling